Hello, this is Gad Elmaleh, and welcome to ShowbizMonkeys.com.
Around this town, I'm alright. Around this town, I'm alright. I mean, no consequence when you playing with the fire.
What influenced a young Gad to get into stand-up comedy?
So to answer to that, I have to talk a little bit about my life, where I grew up. I was born and raised in Morocco. Then I moved to Canada. I lived in Montreal for 4 years. And I have to say that I've always wanted to do comedy, but when I started to watch those comedians, it was more French-speaking comedians in Quebec, in Montreal, at the festival. I was very inspired, and I wrote my first one-man show. It was not really stand-up because I didn't know what stand-up was. So I did my first show in Montreal. It was kind of a story telling the whole journey about me moving from Morocco to Canada and the cultural shock and the whole thing and family. And then I moved to France, went to acting school and started to do plays and movies, and I wrote another show. And one day I watched a video from a guy named Jerry Seinfeld. And I said, wow, I feel so connected to this way of saying things, and the way he thinks and his mind and the way he's analyzing and observing. Yeah, that's about observational. And I didn't know it was stand-up comedy, but the only thing I knew was I want to do this.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I can do. And also, we didn't have like proper stand-up in France. We had like one-man shows and I don't know, like characters and impersonators, but we didn't have really like proper stand-up comedian, just one guy standing there with no help, telling jokes, kind of cold, you know. And I really loved it. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to talk directly to the crowd with no characters, with no music, props, whatever. And little by little, I was inspired by him, and we met and we became friends. And the funny thing is, now I want to go back to what I was doing before in France, because I love stand-up comedy, but I think there's a lack of charm and acting out, and I don't know. I like shows, you know. I like to see a show with music, with the whole thing. And I think sometimes stand-up comedy could be a little dry, you know.
Yeah.
So I would like to maybe mix, you know, like those two genres. And this is what I try to do these days in America.
Yeah, I guess in Canada you see a little bit of that, maybe with the fringe festivals and with the influence from the Edinburgh Fringe and that kind of thing. But certainly in the U.S. you don't seem to see more diverse shows like that. Within stand-up and solo performances.
Yeah, totally. You see this in Quebec a lot. And,
yeah.
And you know what was amazing when I lived in Montreal is that I could watch comedians in French doing stand-up. That was the perfect mix. They were like the form, the art, the craft with stand-up comedy, talking directly to the audience, and in French. So I got inspired also by them. I was like, shit, we can do this in French too. So I'm going to bring this and import that to France. And I was with a few other guys in France. I was one of them. It's not me, but I was one of these guys who brought this art form, I would say, or way of expression on stage to France.
Yeah, which must have been very, very fun to be a part of something that for there was relatively new.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
speaking of new, you then went and did something new after building that career that you just spoke about in France. You decided, well, I'm going to move to the U.S., to New York, and try to do this again, but in English.
This is crazy. I mean, the challenge is, like, people make fun of me. Jerry Seinfeld always tells me, what's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I'm like, I need that challenge. I need to, it's like, you have everything you need. You have a great career. You make money in France. Why would you go and struggle and try to earn these laughs in another language? And this is what I want. This is so exciting, you know? I get excited.
Yeah, which is, I mean, a lot of people, that's why they want to perform, right? Is for that excitement, and you don't want to lose that. So if you can bring a new challenge in.
Yeah, haven't lost it when I was in France, but, you know, it's like, I don't know, married people won't be happy with the analogy, but if you are married with someone for a long time, sometimes you need maybe something to spice it up. And I don't know, so you come up with ideas and you travel and you talk but the thing is now, the best feeling is when you are, like when I walk to the club, when I'm on my way to the Comedy Cellar, for example, because that's my home club here in New York City. Mm-hmm. When I'm on my way to the club with my little notebook, I'm the happiest man on the planet. And a few weeks before, I'm on my way to arenas in Belgium, Switzerland, Monaco, or North Africa. I'm not, how you say that, blasé or saying, because I'm thankful to my fans in Europe. And I think one of the reasons why I'm able to do what I do here, even in English, is because of them, because I got confidence and really experience because of them, you know?
Yeah.
But there's nothing such as this great, fantastic feeling of going to the club. No one knows who I am. I just go on and I say my jokes and I try to not bomb, and it's hard and it's fantastic. It's a great experience, you know, for me. It's and I think it's not only a comedian thing. I think every person who is really passionate about his work should be able to challenge himself and not as hard as that, but maybe, and not starting over all the way, but maybe just to, I don't know, I have the image in France, but it's kind of this guy who won at the casino and take all what he wins and he puts everything again, you know? It's like, okay, I'm going to put everything on the number 5. But man, you just made $10,000. Are you out of your mind? You're going to lose everything. I don't care. I'm getting so excited. But the comparison is not really honest because the $10,000 are still in my bank account.
Right, exactly. But even if it wasn't there, it seems like over the last couple of years living in the U.S., you've now been building this new reputation, this new $10,000. Let's keep with that analogy.
Talking about money, it's also, I'm lucky because I made my money when I was in France and everything. But when they gave me, sometimes when I go perform, they give me $50 in clubs, and I respect that. I take them, and they mean the word to me because I don't know. It's like I love that. You know, it's first of all because I realize a lot of comedians are struggling here, and it's not easy, and it's not easy to make a living. You know, also because I don't know. It's my little thing. It's my little secret. It's my little. I love that. And French people they would freak out. They have no idea. I get sometimes $100 a night, and they would really freak out.
But yeah, I mean that's the nature of kind of starting over, though, is you pay your dues in a different way.
Yeah.
The language barrier, obviously. You could speak some English, but not to the effect that you were actually performing in English before this very much. So how has the transition as far as learning the language and learning, Americanisms and things like that been over the last couple of years? I remember seeing you, your first appearance on Conan, and it seemed like it was very new to you, and now it's been a little while since then. You've done other TV shows, and you've been doing all your shows in New York and touring. So have you grasped more, and do you feel there's still a little bit to go?
A lot. I improved a lot. I worked a lot. As Americans say, I worked my ass off. I worked so hard to be able to not only talk, but to translate not the words, but my thoughts. This is what I always say to my friends. They're like, oh, what words can't you say? What kind of, it's not about the words. It's not about, it's just the thoughts, what do you want to say that you cannot say really, What do you want to express, That's the hardest part of it, But the more you work, and I work with English teacher and a dialect. She's a dialect coach also, and I work with her a lot. And I read and I listen to NPR all the time, and my English is really, really improving now. And but it's tricky because the better you speak, if my English gets good, there will be some jokes I cannot do anymore. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because my whole shtick about, I'm from France and blah, blah, I don't know this, it's going to become like kind of, I'm ahead of that,
Mm-hmm.
It's not really, I would say, not interesting, but I have just to talk about stuff, observations, and I mean, it's fun because it's still my story. But once I'll take the special in November, I don't think I'll go back to this whole how do you say that autobiographic story. I'm from there and I travel and blah blah. And, there's something a little bit. I don't have the words. I'm sorry, but. I've done it. I've been there. I told them the story.
Exactly.
There are some words you don't know. For now, it's good. We're still good. But I don't want to sound like, I don't want those jokes to expire, kind of,
Right, where it feels like they don't fit you anymore.
Yeah. It's not the case now, but it will be if I say, and again, it's part of the work that I was talking about, like, the challenge, that's another challenge. That's a challenge in the challenge. The challenge is to be able to do performing in English, but now the challenge is to be able to be unique and not ahead of your material and not, I don't know if I'm clear. It's a little messy, the whole thing, but
that's stand-up comedy in general.
Yeah, I just want to be a funny man. I don't want to be specialized in, it's okay if they call me the French guy or whatever, the Jerry Seinfeld of Friends, whatever, the thing of the thing, the this of the that, the big thing of somewhere. That's their problem. But to me, I need to do the work. I need to craft I need to work. I need to go on every night and perform and learn. And this is what I love the most. And you don't do this anymore when you're very famous somewhere and you kind of lose your, it's like for sports. I mean, some athletes, some big sports guy, they lose the magic when they stop working.
Yeah, you need to still have that drive.
The drive and not the anger, but how you say when you're hungry, you need the
hunger right there. That works.
Yeah, the eye of the tiger, right?
ShowbizMonkeys.com